Welcome to Scottish Independence Explained, where we look at the history of Scottish independence and how it relates to the situation today. This episode, the Treaty of Union. Let's start from the beginning. In 1603, King James VI of Scotland took the English throne after the death of Elizabeth I. This was later referred to as the Union of Crowns, and meant that every subsequent monarch would be the king or queen of both Scotland and England. However, the two nations were still distinct entities. 90 years on, and Scotland's nobles have decided to take on a colonial endeavour known as the Darien Scheme. The idea was to establish a colony on the Isthmus of Panama, which would give them a lucrative trading route connecting the Pacific to the Atlantic, and line their own pockets whilst doing so. Roughly a quarter of the entire Scottish economy was funneled into the project, and it did not go as planned. The scheme failed due to poor planning, and Scotland's economy was in shambles. Sensing an opportunity, Queen Anne and her ministers proposed a union between the two nations, promising to reimburse any Scottish noble who lost money in Darien so long as they agreed to negotiate. This led to a number of riots, but since no one cared what the common people had to say, the treaty was passed in 1707. And so, after centuries of war and political skirmishes, Scotland finally came under English rule, because of a few bad investments. Decades later, Robert Burns wrote a lament. What force or guile could not subdue, through many warlike ages, is wrought now by a coward few, for hireling traitors' wages. The English style we could disdain, secure in valour's station, but English gold has been our bane, such a parcel of rogues in a nation. And that's how Scotland and England became one. Join us next time as we look at how Scotland got its own parliament 300 years later and break down its powers and responsibilities.